fresh. We present to you local and international newspaper headlines for the day with in-depth analysis from seasoned professionals. Start your day the right way on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
It's a Monday morning in the heart of Lagos, 99.3 Nigeria Info. Welcome. It's another rainy day, and we have stories across the papers today that would catch your attention. We're here to run you by them for the next few minutes, and we'll be doing this with you. That means we'd like to read from you when you send us your messages on our live stream. We're currently live on Facebook and YouTube. The quick address to search for is Nigeria Info 99.3. You can do the same on YouTube, where we're also streaming, and we'll be reading all your comments. For WhatsApp, if you'd like to join us, we'll be reading your messages. It's 08095975805, 08095975805, and we can also do this with you on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. All of those platforms are available for you for now to join us on the show. Welcome. I am Wemimo Adewuni.
I'm Sheriff Quadry. We got the papers on the table this morning. The Nation is here. The Daily Sun is also on the table. This Day newspaper and the Blueprint newspaper. These are the papers on this side of the table.
Well, if you are ready, we are also. Let's kick start with these stories. And we're starting with the Daily Trust, having a very interesting headline here. Crisis brews as ABU as council asks VC to leave. I won't go anywhere, says Professor Garba. You're wondering what's going on at the Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria. There was a directive given by the governing council of the institution to the outgoing Vice Chancellor, Professor Ibrahim Garba, to proceed on terminal leave. His tenure, that's Professor Garba's tenure, expires on April 30th. And the directive by the council for him to leave ahead of his time is generating tension. February, March, April, just 2 months in between. The embattled VC told Daily Trust yesterday that the directive for him to leave was advisory, and he was not willing to go until the end of his stipulated 5 years in office. If you're wondering what the ruckus is all about, there was a letter which is copied to the Minister of Education, the Executive Secretary of the NUC, the IGP, the Director of DSS. Wow, they're not joking. And others, and asked the Vice Chancellor to hand over leadership of the university to the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic. There was a 2-paragraph letter seen and reported by the Daily Trust, and I quote, at the 190th emergency meeting of the Governing Council of the University held on Thursday, February 6th, Council resolved and directed that you should proceed on terminal leave from March 1st. You are to hand over the instrument of the Office of the Vice Chancellor to Professor D.A. Ame, who was the Deputy Vice Chancellor, who will manage the affairs of the university. The new Vice Chancellor resumes duty on May 1. So what's the big deal with this? What are they fighting over? Usually you should go on leave before you finally leave, right? I'm wondering. But ABU is boiling right now just over that.
All right. Moving on to our next story this morning. Let's start with the Nation right now. Southeast states to enact law on regional security. It's on the front page of the Nation newspaper. You can find that story on page 12. Let's take a look at what the story is all about. Here we go. The Southeast will soon have a regional security outfit backed by law. Each state in the region will pass a law to back the initiative, according to the Southeast Governors Forum, SGF. Its chairman, Ebonyi State Governor Dave Umahi, said the Southeast was the first zone to form a joint security outfit before the Southwest came up with the Operation Amotekun. Umahi spoke after a 6-hour-long meeting of the forum in Enugu yesterday. He said the Southeast Joint Security Program was formed late last July 28. A committee was inaugurated on August 31 to work out its operational modalities. Umahi said the committee briefed the governors, who were satisfied with plans for Southeast state houses of assembly to enact laws to legalize the outfit. I guess they're taking their time, and they're claiming that they actually had started before the Southwest came up with theirs. And they're urging their state assemblies to enact laws first before they can move on. Now, talking about state security, northern governors reject regional security outfit. Shege Kafasa riders say name of outfit derogatory, abusive, insist on community policing. Southeast governors ask state assemblies to enact laws on joint security outfit, right FG. This is a story on the front page of this day newspaper, and it goes, the plan by coalition of Northern Group, CNG, to establish a local security outfit known as Shege Kafasa as the region's equivalent of a Motekun in the southwest has hit the brick wall as northern governors have rejected the initiative. The governors, who also described the name of the outfit as derogatory, indicated their preference for community policing to secure the region. The rejection came a few days after the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Saad Abubakar, opposed the establishment of the security outfit, with a call on northern elders not to allow the youths take over their responsibilities.
Well, the Amoteco story is not going away. It's the biggest story on the Punch newspaper. Amoteco personnel, you might find this very interesting. Southwest governors to write IG for gun license. Southwest State Excos discuss Amoteco bills on Wednesday. We'll be following this up for you. The Excos will be discussing the bills. Many people have been asking for it to be formalized, legalized, put it in the laws, and so they're having this conversation on Wednesday. Northern governors, CNG, clash over Operation Shege Kafasa. What are they fighting over? Checking the Punch newspaper for that detail. This similar story is also here. We mentioned this earlier. Enugu to host Southeast Security Outfit coming from the Southeastern governors, and also Insecurity Presidency, Northern Elders Forum Tango. We had this on the chit chat this morning, and the comments were very, very exciting. The Northern Elders are having a say in insecurity issues, and they're pointing all their fingers at the president. It's the biggest story on the Daily Independent. Buhari has failed in security and economy, says Northern Elders. List how North will choose candidate to support in 2023. Presidency dismisses them, say they are paper tigers. Nothing to reckon with, I guess. And with that security issue still on the Punch newspaper, we'll no longer watch our people being slaughtered. Ohanes is saying this here. Federal government's lukewarm attitude is foiling insecurity. That's an allegation from Khan, and it's on the front page of the Punch. This similar story is also on the Daily Trust. Buhari has failed, say Northern Elders, and it's the biggest one of the Guardian, our media partner. You have failed to perform. Northern leaders tell Buhari Ohaneze vows to protect Igbo amid pervasive insecurity. Southwest governors to name their own security outfit soon. Yoruba group threatens secession, over Miyetti Allah. ASU indicts federal government governors as gunmen abduct Abu ex-VC's daughter. If you're wondering about this story, the Miyetti Allah thing and the Yoruba elders is still ongoing. But the Northern Elders, under the auspices of Northern Elders Forum, yesterday accused President Buhari of failing governance tests by allowing insecurity and poverty to thrive in Nigeria. They were led by Professor Ango Abdullahi, and the body handed over the verdict yesterday when it reviewed the state of the nation in Kaduna. There was a press conference in Zaria where they said, and I quote, NEF said they would have refrained from comments on major developments relating to management of national security and governance because it is convinced that these are times which require the highest level of responsibility and circumspection. But of course, the president says, you guys are just talking, talking to me. We'll have a presidential spokesperson join us on the show at 8 a.m. today. We'll be throwing this question to him. We'll get the president's reaction, the presidency's reaction to all of these allegations. Make sure to join us. Right, indeed.
Let's move on to a similar story here, and it's on the front page of Daily Sun newspaper. Constitution amendment North-South fight over state police, devolution of power. Afenifere Ohaneze, Middle Belt endorse amendment. ACF wants status quo maintained. That's on the front page of the Daily Sun newspaper. Let's go check out that story on page 6 of the paper. Here we go. Prominent groups and Nigerians yesterday disagreed over giving due consideration to the establishment of state police and devolution of power in the proposed constitution review by the Ninth Senate. Senate President Amilawan last Thursday inaugurated a 56-member Constitution Review Committee headed by Deputy Senate President Ovie Omagege. The committee consists of all 8 principal officers, 1 senator each from the 36 states, and 2 members from each of the 6 geopolitical zones. Even as the committee is yet to get down to business, there were strong indications that stakeholders and groups from the North want the status quo to remain with regard to the establishment of state police and devolution of power, unlike in the South, where the people are favorably disposed to it. But there are some groups recommending that the National Assembly should adopt the recommendations of the 2014 National Conference as panacea to the country's constitutional challenges. You have input from Ohaneze, input from Middle Belt, firm input from Afenifere, Oyebode, Madu Abuchi, Odiadi also reacting. Decentralized police, Fagbemi is saying that, all in the same story. It's a whole story packed into, different stories packed into one similar story here. Constitution Amendment, ACF, Ohaneze, Afenifere, SANs, others fight over state police, devolution of power. Daily Sun newspaper.
Well, the security stories keep hitting you in the face everywhere you turn this morning. Let's take some of your comments on WhatsApp. Remember, the WhatsApp number is 08095975805. Steve from Ijaniki on WhatsApp says, can someone please tell the presidential spokesman that what Nigerians want is a secured country with a vibrant economy, which they have failed to provide, and not the amount of insults and abuses rained on everyone who tells them the truth about their performance. Said they should remember the names they called the last president when they claimed he was not performing. I'm sure you meant when this party was in the opposition. We also have Mr. Tyra Douglas from VI who sent in a message on WhatsApp. The Northern Elders Forum has stated the obvious by speaking the mind of 97% of Nigerians, it claims, who constitute the masses of today. While Mr. Femi is just protecting his principle without addressing the substance, which is insecurity in the land. What will save this country from disintegrating is peaceful construction amendment in line with reality and true federalism. Thank you, Mr. Tyrus. Raphael Adegoke on WhatsApp says, this insecurity issue is getting out of hand to the extent that his own people are kicking against him. That's the president says Buhari should sit up and address it very swiftly before he gathers more enemies that he can't handle. Edozie Dean Naji here on WhatsApp is saying, good morning, Nigeria Info. Insecurity in this regime has gone worse. Kidnapping, killing, poverty has taken precedence, yet the government is doing nothing or little to nip all of this in the bud. Why is the president still keeping all the service chiefs in office? Why can't he sack and replace them with fresh people to handle this incessant trouble bedeviling Nigeria? As a Southwest governor, I doff my heart for them for standing their ground to make sure Amoteku is seeing the light of day. And he says he's urging other regions to emulate them. That's his comments coming in from WhatsApp.
Let's go to Facebook and see the comments that we have here. Adewale Temitope says, insecurity, federal government should send a bill to National Assembly to establish state police. If proactive measures is not taken, it may lead to parallel government in various regions. Mohammed Adeku Simon says, if he's throwing the towel from an artificial insecurity created by your gullible region just to establish his government, you reached... okay, all right. He's responding to a particular comment, I guess, but it's quite been uncivilized with his comments. But let's quickly move on. Let's take this story. Very interesting story. I'm staying with Daily Sun because this story is quite interesting. Lagos residents sue NNPC, AGF over explosion. That's on page 4 of the Nation News, this Daily Sun newspaper, and it goes, Lagos residents who were rendered homeless by fire outbreak that occurred in Abule Egba area of the state have dragged the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and NPC, the Attorney General of the Federation, and the Minister of Justice Malami Abubakar before the Federal High Court Ikoyi. The claimants, which include Mrs. Christian Adeyinka, Mrs. Kambia, Mr. Emeka Kambia, Mr. Femi Olugbeja, filed the suit through their counsel, Mr. Imran Abdul Ghani, 14 months after the incident. They are praying the court to compel the NNPC to compensate them, being the victims of the fire incident that occurred as a result of the negligence of the respondent, that's NNPC and the Attorney General.
I sincerely wish them all the best. I like the move, but I sincerely wish them all the best. And I wish all
somebody
the
must pay for their losses as well.
I wish other communities had sued them, because this is not just an Abule Egba thing. Across Lagos, and not just in Lagos, across many areas in Nigeria where you've had these eruptions. I've done stories on some communities in Lagos. Some of them have their waters polluted for as long as 24 years, and they've been speaking with the NNPC for that long. Nothing has happened. Maybe the courts can force the hand of the NNPC to, now really look at the pipelines and truly secure them, and then take responsibility for what happened. People have lost a lot of property in that. And there's a similar story reported by The Guardian, the Daily Trust, a Punch newspaper, and the Daily Independent. NNPC, let me take this from the Daily Independent. NNPC records 94% increase in pipeline vandalism. 94% increase in pipeline vandalism. This is from the Daily Independent. It's also on other stories, and the detail here is on page 5. Please pardon me, I have a cold and a bad cough, just trying to get it through. The NNPC said that the daily average natural gas supply to gas-powered plants in November 2019 increased by 16.53%. Let's keep that. But they said the corporation suffered 94% increase, 94% increase in the cases of willful hacking and destruction of its pipeline infrastructure across the country. We really should talk about this. We'll see if we can get the NNPC here in the studio. The NNPC keeps recording losses, and the question is, why do Nigerians vandalize pipelines? It's risky, very dangerous, and it's giving us a lot of loss in the country. 94% increase in willful hacking and destruction of pipelines across the country. This isn't getting funny anymore. If you're... Okay, I was going to say you should tell us a message if you do this, but I know you won't tell us. But if you know someone who does it, or someone who knows someone who knows someone who, maybe drives those trucks, or it's just somehow linked in all of this, and you'd like to remain anonymous, don't worry, just let me know. I'd like to have a chat with you and ask you questions. Why do you do these things? I would like to... Okay, just reach out if you'd like to. You'll be kept anonymous, don't worry. But we'd like to find out the cause. 94% increase, that's pretty worrisome, I say.
Quickly now to NNPC related story. NNPC records 16% increase in gas supply for power generation. It's on the front page of this day newspaper. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation NPC has said the daily average natural gas supply to gas-powered plants increased by 16.53% to 645 million scoff per day, equivalent to generate 2,178 megawatts of electricity in November of 2019. Comparatively, the October 2019 gas supply to power averaged 553 million scoff per day, which could generate 2,050 megawatts of electricity. Acting Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division of NNPC, Mr. Samson Makoji, in a statement yesterday, said the figure was extracted from the 53rd edition of the NNPC Monthly Financial and Operations Report. The financial report also showed that national gas production in November 2019 stood at 228.65 billion cubic feet, translating to an average daily production of 7,621.68 million scoff per day. According to the report, during the period covering November 2018 to November 2019, a total of 3,091.24 billion score per day of gas was produced, representing an average daily production of 7,882.27 million score per day. It added that a period to date production from joint ventures, JVs, production sharing contracts, PSCs, and Nigerian Petroleum Development Company, NPDC, contributed about 69.50%. So, NNPC records 16% increase in gas supply for power generation, but we still flare gas like no other country in the world. We should focus more on that, on how to harness the gas that we're flaring. If we can do that, the issue of power generation or distribution of power, stable power in Nigeria, will be over. As a matter of fact, it's being touted that with the kind of gas that we flare in Nigeria today, we will be able, if properly harnessed, we'll be able to power the entire region called the West African sub-region. We'll be able to power the entire sub-region. So, yeah, I think that should be our next target now.
Let's read some comments now. On WhatsApp, we have Aurora from Ayabo who's commenting here. Who doesn't know? Okay. Let me see. Okay, I think I might have to skip your comment unless you have proof. You're making very serious allegations here. I can't read them out. Okay. You completed your comment by saying, I won't read it. So, all right, for my personal consumption, thank you, Aurora, for setting that in. We have this from Casimir Koligwe. It says, good morning. Constitution Review Committee, another financial scam from the Senate. Why can't they adopt the constitutional amendment of the previous government? We have this from Olaide Cruz from VI. It says, the Northern elders have realized in truth that President Buhari is no longer in control of his government. Moreover, the president's wife once said that, this, plus porous border security, ministers' incompetency, high level of police and SARS abuse, poor economic initiatives and lack of strategy to create jobs instead of mighty tax level on citizens can only mean one thing: poor performance, like a student that failed WAEC. And on Twitter, we have I go talk my mind. I like your handle, by the way. You should go ahead and say it. It says, so the Southwest has Amoteku, North has Shege Kamfasa, the Southeast is cooking theirs now. It will be very interesting to see how the South will come together to form a regional security outfit. We're also watching our Farid. Lanre Lot says, where's Rotimi? Oh, he's a bit under the weather. Thank you for asking. Rotimi is a bit under the weather. He should be here on Wednesday. West Norby said the government has failed on 2 of the cardinal points on which they were voted into power. The Northern elders just reiterated what a majority of Nigerians have been saying for a long time. And Joy Forever also says on Twitter, presidents should protect and enforce laws. But when a man claims ignorance of insurgency, how will he fight back? The Northern elders are saying the truth now because the handwriting is on the wall.
Going to YouTube, Stanley Ayacho on YouTube says security situation in Nigeria has reached a clandestine height. The security chiefs should be relieved of their duties to give room for fresh ideas. Stanley on YouTube, thank you for sending that in. Let's look at this next story coming in from the Nation newspaper. House of Reps broke, says spokesman. No cash to work with. That's a report on the front page of the Nation newspaper. House of Reps broke, says spokesman. No cash to work with. Let's flip over to the page and bring you that story. So there you go. The House of Representatives is facing a serious cash crunch. Its spokesman Benjamin Kalu said at the weekend. He said the problem of funding is hampering the implementation of its programs and slowing down its activities, including several investigations pending before it. Besides, the budget of the lower chamber of the National Assembly has not increased in the last 10 years, despite increases in the cost of living across the board, he said. Despite the development, Kalu assured the nation that the leadership of the House would manage available funds judiciously and give Nigerians effective legislation. Addressing reporters at the weekend in Abuja, he said, let me quote him, your observation about the financial problems of the committees if any, is in order. The impression out there is not true. The House of Representatives is struggling with funds because the activities of the House are bigger than the budget. This is a fact. Many are not aware of this because they don't understand the workings of the institution. That is why we are working hard to open up the activities of the institutions so that people can understand what we do in the House. The activities are many, while the funding is small. Many will not like to hear this, but this is the truth.
This all the headlines you should go check out. This one, very interesting. The Daily Trust has it. We lack money to work. Your reps are saying this. We lack money to work. You can check the detail out on page 6. I wonder what they mean.
I just read it. That's the last story I read now.
We lack money to work. Why? Why do they lack money to work? And also, ECOWAS is mobilizing $1 billion to fight terrorism, Buhari reveals. And he's saying also on the front page of The Guardian how ECOWAS should spend anti-terrorism fund. This is coming from the president. You can go check out the detail. 9Mobile grapples with challenges, loses 2 million subscribers in 1 year. You can see this also on the Daily Independent. And there is more. Thank you all for joining. We see all your comments when we return from this break. We're heading to Abuja to join the presidential spokesperson, one of them, that's Ajuri Ngulale, who'll be joining us to talk about the ban on visa, for Nigerians to go to the U.S. as immigrants. So those who are married, I'm just wondering, if you're married and you've gone there, you're expecting your partner to come join you, that's not going to happen. What are you planning to do? Tell us when we return from the break. We'll also have someone in here, a researcher, lead researcher from the NIIA, and we're looking at this together on the show. We'll do this also with you. We'll come back to the social media handles to read from you, so stay with us there. We'll also take your calls. Remember that the show now, still 9:30 a.m. I'm excited about that. Do join us again. I'm Wemimo Adewuni.
I'm Sheriff Quadry.
Keeping up with political issues and developments around you. Only on 99.3 Nigeria Info. I am listening.